Hello my pokey people, and welcome one and all to our next Sun and Moon theory and fun. And don't you think it's high time we had ourselves a little discussion about this fashionable piece of wrist attire? Aw, yeah! So, before we go into this, I'm not about to be like, burst evolution confirmed, we're gonna fuse with our Pokemon and Sun and Moon, and it's gonna be amazing to be a Pokehuman, and ha 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 ha. No, we're not gonna go down that route, though. You know, those of you that are into that, I'm only gonna judge you privately. But what I do think this does indicate is a modified version of, air quotes, burst evolution in Sun and Moon. And I think it's going to be working a lot similar to Ash Greninja, but on a little bit of a smaller scale. So, this actual bracelet then, it's very obvious to see that it's got the little gem stone in it that we see in the logos for the game. Now, we know that stuff in the logos for the game is important. It happened with X and Y with the Mega Evolution logo, which was the big new mechanic in this game. So I think it's safe to assume that these crystals are going to be a big thing in Sun and Moon, especially now that we've seen them on the wrists of the protagonist. Now, the reason why I don't think this is a Mega Evolution is the protagonist gets given these bracelets very early on in the game. You see from a few of the clips that you obviously don't have them on in your starting home, but you do have them on when you are battling with your starter still in its first form, which would imply early in the game. Hell, for the female trainer, the starter is all she has, but she still has the bracelet, so clearly you get given it, hell, before probably even the first gym. This is further enforced by the little scene of the protagonist running along the road by what is most likely the very first Pokemon Center. It's obviously kind of blurry and hard to see, but it very much looks like he has it on his wrist. So you're not going to get Mega Evolution that early, so I think we can cross a Mega Bracelet out. So what is this thing then? Well, I think it ties in to the professor of the region, and that is to say Professor Kuei. Is it Kuei? I think it's Kuei. I'm not actually 100% on that one, but either way, hell, that might even be why you have to immediately go meet him and his assistant Lily on the beach. Maybe that's where you first get it after some sort of test involving her and you, and then she becomes your actual main rival, despite not actually liking Pokemon battling. But these are all thoughts for another time. The Professor of Alola focuses on Pokemon moves so much that he even has Pokemon attack him so he can better understand how their moves work. And the game always tends to have a new mechanic connected to what the professor of a region researches, or at least the theme is strong. For example, Professor Oak, the first one, studies relationships between Pokemon and humans. That makes sense. It's the first game, the first time we actually interacted with Pokemon. Professor Elm studies Pokemon breeding. Pokemon breeding was introduced in Gen 2. Professor Birch of Hoenn studies habitats. Hoenn was a really tropical and diverse region to visit, much more so than the first two. Sinnoh, Professor Rowan studies evolution, and in Sinnoh we got loads of different and new evolutions for all Pokemons achieved various different ways. And then we got Juniper in Unova, who studies the origins of Pokemon, which ties in the fact that 150 new Pokemon were introduced, which is loads of new Pokemon origins to look at. Granted, this one's the weakest, but then we obviously have Sycamore, which is by far the strongest. He studies Mega Evolution, and that game introduced Mega Evolution and had a big thing about Mega Evolution. So we can confidently say the professor ties into a theme of the region, so Kuei being all over a Pokemon attacks. That would imply we're getting something new and exciting to do with Pokemon attacks, and I think it ties into this bracelet and a form of burst evolution, because obviously it makes sense that the professor asks you to do something to help his particular research out, i.e. take this bracelet and see how it reacts to your Pokemon moves as your bond grows stronger, perhaps? But I think what we'll have is a burst attack. almost like a really unique signature attack that you can only have between you and your starter, because they do seem to be giving you a little bit more of a connection with your starter, having you pick it up and look at it like, oh, look at it all simbery in your hand when you choose it. And I think as you go through the game, the reason you're given that bracelet is it reads and monitors and reacts to the connection between you and your starter Pokemon, and eventually at some point in the story your bond deepens to the point that maybe it glows and it's a surprise and it activates suddenly, maybe when you're about to lose a battle. Hell, they could get really unique with it, and then like it bursts forward and whichever starter you have transforms a little bit, you know, it changes its look slightly. I don't think it will be relevant to how you look like Ash Greninja is because of all the customization. I doubt they will have allowed for every variation you could look like, but I think it will change a little bit and it will do its signature air quotes burst attack. Now, whether this will be a button at the bottom of the screen like Mega Evolution was, or it makes an existing attack powerfuler, I'm not sure. I think it would be cool if once per battle you can press burst attack where Mega Evolution normally is and do a ridiculously powerful that just like uses both of you in a cool animation and you change a Pokemon a little and it's done with your starter and it's just epic. I think that would be really badass, and I think that might be where it's building, because I really don't see the games going full press the button, your starter changes to look like you and it's much powerfuler now. That's just a different type of Mega Evolution. I think it's going to be much more focused on the attack itself. I mean, obviously, let me know what you guys think, and honestly, there's also a chance it is just going to do the Ash Greninja route, because it's massively popular in the anime, and they tend to take things that are massively popular and put them in the game in some way because people want that. So maybe we are just going to get a straight up, this is just a burst bracelet that changes your starter to somewhat vaguely look like you, and it's like Mega Evolution. But I think going the specific unique attack route is probably going to be a lot more fun. And honestly, thinking about it with the recently released Koro leaks, the fact that they've said there's something unique and special about the Puppy Rock and Poplio, Litten, and Rowler, it's got me kind of thinking that maybe I really am in at least the region of accurate with this theory, because I feel like the special thing is this kind of, well, the special thing in Greninja that lets it do the fusion-y evolve enhance thing. So I'm really excited to see where this goes. And another final little thing just to mention, it's not really worth its own video, but it's kind of interesting that we know that the Pokedex is 1% complete with you owning one and seeing 3. So I mean, offhand you can say that the Alola Pokedex has 300 or 100 in, but it probably rounds up to 1%, so it's not that helpful at all, really. But it's just something I want to, I don't even know why. The reason I want to bring this up is because I think I really am on the money, and it's an easy thing to predict that we are getting old regions Pokemon. I mean, we see a Meowth, we see Love Discs as well in aquariums. I mean, out of all the fish, a Love Disc in your aquarium? I mean, come on, get some taste. But it does make me think we're getting probably around 100 or so new Pokemon of, you know, obvious quality, because it's supposed to be a rare tropical region. So I'd be happy with 50 old ones and 100 or so of Kalos quality. So there we have it, guys. Like if you've enjoyed this, it really does help, guys, and I do appreciate it. Spread the word, let others into this video, and I will see you next Poketime. My name's been Rage. A good boy.